The best thing about the NFL is that every year is completely different.
NFC West? Oh yeah. Brock Purdy and the Niners. They will win the division.
We're going to try and see through the madness and go division by division to pick who is going to finish on top when the dust settles in January. So with that, let's dive right into it. AFC East, Buffalo Bills. Well, it's been a rough go of it the last couple of years for the Buffalo Bills in terms of getting over the proverbial hump. They have avoided temptation to go nuclear in the offseason. No, they didn't blow it up, at least not yet. But they have managed to make strategic tweaks to try and offset some of the weaknesses that have reared their heads in postseasons past. And hey, that is exactly why I'm back on the Buffalo Bills to win the AFC East in 2025. In New York, they're taking a gamble on Justin Fields under center, which hey, that's exciting for fans, but it's far from a guarantee that they're going to be able to make any marked changes to their output. Miami is starting to look more and more of a hot mess. There are rumors out the wazoo that Mike McDaniel and Tyreek Hill are feuding, and Tua can't stay on the field to save his life, let alone their team's hopes. And New England? Sheesh. Well, there's reason to believe that Mike Vrabel can change the culture there, but in year one? I don't know about you, but I'm in no rush to back them to retake the throne in the AFC East. The Buffalo is still the class of the division. They're just doing it a little quieter this time. NFC East, Philadelphia Eagles. The Eagles aren't just back on top of the NFC East, they're back on top of the football world. The reigning Super Bowl champs took a couple of hits in free agency, but they'll still have a roster built for repeat business, and a front office that somehow got even sharper this offseason. Oh yeah, good luck catching them now. Jalen Hurts has fully arrived, not just as a dual-threat highlight reel, but as a championship quarterback. The Eagles gave him new tools by trading for wideout John Mechie III, giving him another shifty, reliable target to go alongside A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. Meanwhile, the offensive line, and the defense, lest we forget, remains elite, as per usual in Philly. And the rest of the division, well, still stuck in neutral, with the exception of maybe the upstart Washington Commanders. In fact, starting with them, well, yeah, they had a heck of a run last year, but I think it's a bit of a stretch to think that they've taken a big enough step forward to catch Big Brother in the division. I mean, we all remember how the NFC Championship game went last year. The Cowboys are running it back with the same half-baked regular season promises and the same postseason ghosts, and, well, the Giants are rolling out with a soon-to-be 37-year-old Russell Wilson behind a shaky offensive line and just crossing their fingers. Unless someone in the NFC East takes a massive leap, this race is over before it starts. Book it, the Birds run it back in 2025. AFC North, Cincinnati Bengals. The Bengals' 2024 campaign was defined by two things: Joe Burrow's reaffirmation of elite status and survival. They dealt with injuries, inconsistency, and a roster that simply wasn't right until it was too late. But now they're healthy, they're angry, and they've quietly put together one of the smartest off seasons in the entire league. They didn't hit the panic button. They stuck to what it's worked. Re-signing core contributors like BJ Hill and Cam Sample, extending their relationship with T. Higgins, even if it's a bit tense, and adding size and power up front with a few sneaky summer signings like Taven Bryan and TJ Slayton to bolster that D-line rotation. Meanwhile, the rest of the division may have taken a step backwards. Pittsburgh made the biggest headlines, trading for Aaron Rodgers, but there's a reason that he was available. That body is slowing down, and we've seen this movie before. There is no guarantee the second act in black and gold ends any better than it did in green and white. The Ravens are very well coached, and Lamar Jackson will always keep them in contention. However, they lost key veteran pieces this offseason and still have some demons to conquer. And the Browns, well, they're trapped on a haunted quarterback roller coaster with Joe Flacco and his band of backups. I think it's silly to think that they are legitimate threats to win the division. They would need the most elite of elite defenses to bail them out week after week. NFC North, Detroit Lions. No more pretending, no more feel-good story. The Detroit Lions are officially a powerhouse, and they're heading into 2025 with more confidence, more continuity, and more edge than anyone else in the NFC North. With the exception of losing OC Ben Johnson, they kept the band together this offseason, making it clear this isn't a flash-in-the-pan group. This is a core built to contend. Now, out in Green Bay, the Packers are getting close. Jordan Love showed that he could play, but they still don't have the consistent protection or receiving depth Detroit has. And they haven't quite proven that they can win the big ones just yet. The Bears are putting a lot on Caleb Williams' shoulders. And while he's a talented player, the step that he needs to take to be a winner on Sundays is still pretty steep, especially when your defense is still giving up chunk plays. And the Vikings have a first-year starter in J.J. McCarthy under center, which, even with Kevin O'Connell calling the shots, is sure to have some growing pains. The Lions are not chasing the crown anymore. They are the crown. And based on how this team is built, they might not let go of it for a long time. AFC South, Houston Texans. While 2024 was a tough season for Houston, they proved that they are no longer just a feel-good story. They are a serious football team, capable of winning an admittedly weak division even in a down year. What was most impressive, though, was that they seemingly reinvented themselves mid-season, revamping up the defensive intensity, which should pay dividends this year if the offense can rediscover its high watermark from 2023, which feels very possible, considering CJ Stroud looks like a franchise quarterback with 10 years under his belt. Calm, accurate, and now armed with a full offseason as the guy. And as mentioned, the rest of the division is more question marks than answers. Jacksonville continues to be an enigma, just one step forward, two steps back. That defense still feels light in the front seven. And, oh man, Trevor Lawrence, for all his flashes, still has not proved that he can carry a team through November and December. Indianapolis currently has Daniel Jones, which I think tells you all that you really need to know. And Tennessee has been in the cellar for years now. Plus, they have a rookie quarterback coming in. The Texans have the best quarterback, the most balanced roster, and the clearest identity. That is a recipe for a winning division, and they're doing it with relative ease. NFC South, Atlanta Falcons. This one might come as a surprise pick, but the Falcons are finally done messing around. The rebuild is over. The experiments are done. This is a team that wants to win and win right now. The keys officially belong to Michael Penix Jr., who enters his second year ready to take over the offense in full. It's his first full season as the starter, and the Falcons are betting big on his left arm and deep ball aggression to elevate an offense that has been sleepwalking for years. And what about the rest of the NFC South? Well, the Saints are stuck in cap hell, still pretending Derek Carr didn't retire. Tampa Bay is good, sure, but we think it's possible that Baker Mayfield will show some regression. And Carolina showed some promise down the stretch last year, but they're still in the bucket of rebuilding until proven otherwise. AFC West, Kansas City Chiefs. Last year may not have ended how Kansas City had envisioned, but hey, they're at the point where you simply cannot bet against them. The front office focused on continuity and doubling down on their defensive identity. Steve Spagnuolo's unit has gotten faster, nastier, and younger over the past 2 seasons. And with Trent McDuffie continuing his rise as one of the premier corners in football, well, the back end is just as dangerous as the front. Oh, and then of course there's that whole Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, Andy Reid thing going. And this is not just hollow praise. There are some real contenders building in the AFC West. The Chargers hit the reset button with Jim Harbaugh, who is building a run-heavy physical identity that is really starting to come into form. Sean Payton and Bo Nix look like a match made in heaven. And the Raiders, well, they're at least trying something different with Pete Carroll and Geno Smith. That said, the Chiefs are still the gold standard, and we expect them to take the division once again. NFC West, San Francisco 49ers. It feels weird to say this about a team that's been a mainstay in NFC title games for the better part of a decade, but yeah, the 49ers are coming off a pretty brutal season. Injuries piled up, Christian McCaffrey went down and never quite looked right even when he was healthy, Deebo Samuel battled lower body stuff all year, oh, and they lost Brandon Ayuk for the season. Making matters even worse, that defense lost its edge and ultimately they missed the playoffs entirely. But here's the thing, this team still has the bones of a contender. And, more importantly, they spent the 2025 offseason owning the failures of last year, as well as fixing them. They moved on from Deebo, clearing up cap space and making room for Brandon Ayuk to be the guy. And, assuming CMC comes back healthy, this offense is gonna hum again with George Kittle, Ayuk, and Ricky Pearsall giving Brock Purdy plenty of options. Now, let's look around the division. Seattle is still trying to reboot the defense with Mike McDonald and is coming along nicely, but there doesn't really appear to be much of a plan on offense. Sam Darnold looks more like a one-year wonder than a long-term solution, and Cooper Kupp is well past his prime. The Rams are still frisky with Stafford and Puka, but they're shallow, young on defense, and always a Stafford injury away from irrelevance. Arizona is technically making progress, but it is still a work in progress. Kyler Murray can make plays, but that roster just is not ready yet. So yeah, last year was a stumble for San Francisco, but it was the exception, not the rule. And with a healthy run CMC, a bounce back from Purdy, and Shanahan still calling the shots, the Niners are gonna remind the league who owns the NFC West. But hey, do you think your favorite team's gonna win their division? If not, then who do you think will? What do you think we got wrong here? What do you think we got right? Let us know in the comments section below. If you liked this video and learned a thing or two, then hey, clicking that like button helps out a ton. And you know, we really appreciate it. If this is your first time coming around to TPS though, then subscribing is a great idea because we put out videos like this every single day. But as always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.